The research station Vanguard orbited silently around the barren world of Epsilon 7, an unremarkable planet at the edge of human-explored space. It was a quiet outpost manned by a small but skilled crew of scientists, engineers, and defense personnel. Captain Adrienne Blake, the station's commanding officer, gazed out of the observation deck's window at the infinite expanse of stars. The tranquility was deceptive, as their mission was to push the boundaries of humanity's understanding, exploring the mysteries of the cosmos. Dr. Jonas Kepler, the station's lead sinologist, adjusted his instruments in the lab, unaware that this day would mark a turning point for humanity. "Captain," a voice crackled through the comms, "we're picking up an anomaly. You'll want to see this." Adrienne hurried to the command center, her boots echoing in the stereo corridors. On the main screen, a massive ship loomed into view. Its size dwarfed the Vanguard. It was unlike anything humanity had encountered before, with sleek obsidian surfaces that shimmered like liquid under the faint light of the distant star. Its sheer presence was a silent testament to a civilization far older and more advanced than humanity. "Alien vessel on approach," reported Lieutenant Ethan Park, the station's comms officer. "No prior data matches its configuration." "Raise the alert level," Adrienne ordered. "Initiate first contact protocols. Let's not make any assumptions." The Vanguard transmitted greetings in every known and theoretical language. Moments later, the alien ship responded, not with words but with a pulsating energy wave. It resonated through the station like a low hum, harmonizing with the very structure of their systems. The comms console flickered to life, displaying symbols and patterns that defied immediate understanding. Jonas studied the data feed, his mind racing. "It's communication, but they're using frequencies and methods we've never encountered. We'll need to decode this quickly." Before they could respond, the alien ship released a smaller vessel that glided gracefully toward the Vanguard. The defense systems activated automatically, targeting the craft, but Adrienne overrode them. "Stand down," she commanded. "We're not starting a war today." The craft docked with the station, its seamless exterior blending into the Vanguard's airlock. The crew gathered nervously as the airlock hissed open, revealing a figure cloaked in shifting light. The alien was tall and elegant, its translucent body glowing faintly with what seemed to be a living energy. Its form constantly shifted, resembling a blend of liquid and light. The being raised an appendage-like limb, and suddenly, the symbols from earlier projected into the air around it. Adrienne took a cautious step forward. "I'm Captain Adrienne Blake of the Human Research Station Vanguard," she said, her voice steady. "We come in peace." The alien's form stabilized slightly, and the symbols shifted into a coherent pattern. Jonas's translator device clicked as it made sense of the symbols. A synthesized voice echoed, "We are the Psorthi. You are intruding in contested space. Leave or be eradicated." The tension in the room thickened. Adrienne met the alien's gaze, her mind racing. They had stumbled into a territory dispute, and humanity had never faced an adversary of this scale. Yet, backing down now would mean retreating from the unknown, a betrayal of everything humanity stood for. "We have no intention of trespassing," Adrienne said calmly. "This station was established for peaceful research. We didn't know this space was claimed." The Psorthi pulsed with light, a sign of agitation. The translation came through. "Your presence disrupts the balance. Your kind is a threat." Jonas interjected, his curiosity overriding his fear. "Why do you believe we're a threat? We've just begun exploring space." The alien paused, its form flickering. It projected a sequence of images. Planets scorched, civilizations destroyed. The implication was clear. Other species had come before, bringing ruin. Humanity, in the eyes of the Psorthi, was another potential danger. Adrienne squared her shoulders. "We are not like them. Let us prove it." The Psorthi remained silent for a moment before responding. "Prove your intentions. But know this, the Galactic Empire watches. One mistake and you will burn." With that, the alien returned to its craft and departed, leaving the crew in stunned silence. The enormity of their situation settled over them like a weight. Humanity had not only encountered intelligent life, but had also been deemed a potential enemy. Adrienne turned to her crew, her voice steady but firm. "We're not backing down. If they think we're a threat, we'll show them what humanity truly is: resilient, innovative, and capable of peace." As the alien ship retreated into the void, the Vanguard prepared for the challenges ahead. The encounter had left them shaken but determined. They had entered a universe filled with dangers and wonders, and humanity's journey was just beginning. The first sign of the Galactic Imperium's presence was the trembling of the research station Aurora's Edge. Perched on the edge of the Solus Nebula, it had been humanity's furthest outpost for over a decade, a symbol of perseverance and exploration. But that morning, the quiet hum of its systems was drowned out by a low-frequency vibration that resonated through the metal framework of the station. Lieutenant Mira Solis was the first to spot it. From the observation deck, she stood frozen, staring out into the void. There, cutting through the swirling gas clouds of the nebula, was a ship unlike any the human race had ever encountered. It was colossal, a dark silhouette against the vibrant colors of space. Its hull shimmered faintly, as if the very fabric of space-time bent around it. The design was alien, both elegant and menacing, with jagged spires extending from its core like black talons reaching outward. A sense of foreboding gripped Mira, and she immediately alerted Commander Elias Rourke. Within moments, the command center was alive with activity. Screens flickered, displaying data as technicians scrambled to analyze the approaching vessel. "What do we know?" Rourke barked, his eyes never leaving the central display. "It's massive," Mira replied, her voice steady despite the tension in the room. "Roughly 3 kilometers in length. Energy readings are off the charts, some kind of power source we've never seen before. They're not answering any of our standard communications," added Specialist Cole Vance, his fingers flying across the console. "If they've intercepted our messages, they're not acknowledging them." Rourke's jaw tightened. "Keep trying. Initiate all protocols for first contact. We don't fire unless fired upon." But as the Imperium vessel drew closer, it became clear this was no diplomatic visit. The ship's spires began to glow with an eerie green light, and tendrils of energy coiled around its hull like living things. Without warning, a pulse of energy shot out, enveloping Aurora's Edge in a shimmering field. "What the hell was that?" Rourke demanded as the station's lights flickered. "An energy net," Mira said, her voice grim. "We're trapped." Before anyone could respond, a deep, resonant voice filled the room. It wasn't coming through the station's speakers. It seemed to echo from the walls themselves. "We are the Imperium," the voice intoned. "You have encroached upon sovereign territory. Surrender immediately or face annihilation." The declaration sent a chill through the crew. Rourke's fists clenched. "So much for diplomacy," he muttered. Mira turned to him, her eyes fierce. "What's our move, Commander?" Rourke's gaze swept across the room, landing on the tactical display. The Imperium ship was a behemoth, dwarfing the Aurora's Edge. Direct confrontation was out of the question, but humanity hadn't survived this long by backing down. "We stall," he said finally. "If they wanted us dead, we wouldn't still be talking. Let's see what they're really after." Mira nodded. "And if they attack?" Rourke's lips curled into a determined smile. "Then we remind them who they're dealing with." The tension in the command center was electric. Every crew member was focused, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Rourke paced back and forth, his mind racing as he weighed the options. They were hopelessly outgunned, but surrender wasn't an option. "Lieutenant Solis," he said, turning to Mira, "what's our tactical analysis?" Mira glanced at the display, her fingers tapping the edge of the console. "Their ship is heavily armed, but it's designed for large-scale engagements. They're not expecting resistance from something as small as Aurora's Edge. If we're careful, we might be able to use that to our advantage." "Go on," Rourke said. "There's a weak point here," Mira said, pointing to the schematic the station's eye had generated. "An energy conduit near the rear of the ship. If we can disrupt it, we could destabilize their systems, buy ourselves some time." "And how do we do that?" Cole interjected, his tone skeptical. "We don't exactly have an arsenal at our disposal." "We have ingenuity," Mira said firmly, "and we have the Scorpion." The Scorpion was the station's lone shuttle, a nimble craft designed for reconnaissance and repair missions. It was small, fast, and if piloted correctly, capable of slipping past even the most advanced defenses. "You're proposing a suicide mission," Cole said, his brow furrowed. "Not if it's done right," Mira shot back. "We equipped the Scorpion with an EMP charge, slipped past their defenses, and hit that conduit. It's risky, but it's our best shot." Rourke considered her plan, his face unreadable. Finally, he nodded. "Do it. And Mira, be careful." As Mira suited up in the hangar bay, she couldn't shake the weight of what she was about to do. This wasn't just about the station or even her crewmates. This was humanity's first confrontation with a galactic power far beyond their comprehension. If she failed, it could mean the end of everything. She climbed into the Scorpion, her hands steady as she activated the controls. "This is Lieutenant Mira Solis," she said over the comms. "Launching Operation Last Stand. See you on the other side." The shuttle shot out of the station's hangar, weaving through the shimmering energy net that surrounded Aurora's edge. Mira's heart pounded as she approached the Imperium vessel. It loomed before her like a predator, its spires glowing ominously. Suddenly, alarms blared as the ship's defenses locked onto her. A volley of plasma bolts streaked toward the Scorpion. Mira swerved, her hands moving instinctively as she dodged the incoming fire. "Come on," she muttered, gritting her teeth. "You'll have to do better than that." The Scorpion danced through the chaos, Mira's skill and determination keeping her one step ahead of the Imperium's weapons. Finally, she reached the conduit. "EMP charge armed," she reported, releasing in 3, 2, 1. The charge detonated, sending a ripple of energy through the Imperium ship. For a moment, everything went still. Then, with a deafening roar, the ship's systems began to falter. Lights flickered, and the once imposing spires dimmed. Back on the Aurora's edge, the crew erupted into cheers, but Mira's victory was short-lived. The Scorpion shuddered violently as the Imperium ship retaliated, sending a shockwave through space. "Mira, get out of there!" Rourke's voice crackled over the comm. "I'm trying," she shouted, wrestling with the controls. As the Scorpion struggled to regain stability, Mira caught a glimpse of something through the viewport, an energy surge building within the Imperium vessel. "They're powering up their main weapon," she realized, her blood running cold. Time was running out, and Mira knew what she had to do. Mira's fingers danced over the controls of the Scorpion, her mind racing for a solution. The Imperium vessel was powering up its main weapon, a blinding orb of energy forming at the tip of its central spire. It was aimed squarely at Aurora's edge. "This is it," she muttered, determination setting her jaw. She opened a channel to the station. "Commander Rourke, the Imperium ship is preparing to fire. The EMP charge wasn't enough to cripple their systems." Rourke's voice came through strained. "We'll evacuate the station. Mira, get back here. That's an order." "No," she said firmly, her voice unwavering. "There's no time. If they fire, it won't just be us. That blast could reach the colonies on Titan." Silence hung heavy over the comms before Rourke spoke again. "What are you planning, Lieutenant?" Mira hesitated, her throat tight. "I'm taking the Scorpion straight into their weapon core. If I can overload their energy systems from the inside, I might be able to stop them." "Damn it, Mira," Rourke barked. "You're talking about a suicide run." "I know," she said quietly, "but I've seen what they're capable of. If we don't stop them here, this won't be the last time humanity faces them. Someone has to make a stand." The line went silent again. Then Rourke's voice returned, softer this time. "You're the bravest damn soldier I've ever known, Mira. If this is goodbye, thank you." She swallowed the lump in her throat. "Goodbye, Commander. And tell the crew they were the best." Mira angled the Scorpion toward the glowing spire of the Imperium vessel. The ship's defenses sprang to life again, bolts of plasma streaking past her. She dodged and weaved, her hands steady as adrenaline coursed through her veins. The weapon core loomed ahead, a swirling mass of energy contained within a transparent chamber. Mira aimed directly for it, locking the Scorpion's trajectory. "Almost there," she murmured. A sudden impact rocked the shuttle as a plasma bolt grazed her wing. Alarms blared, but she pressed on. Her comm crackled one last time. "Mira." It was Rourke. "We're picking up a distress signal from the Imperium ship. They're hailing us." Mira hesitated, her breath catching. "What?" "They're calling for a ceasefire," Rourke said, urgency in his voice. "They're offering terms." For a split second, Mira's mind reeled. Was this real? Could the Imperium truly be backing down? She glanced at the weapon core ahead, its energy still building. "They've already shown what they're willing to do," she said, her voice hard. "They're stalling." "Mira." "Tell humanity to fight," she said, cutting the comm. With one final breath, Mira pushed the Scorpion to full throttle. The small shuttle shot forward, piercing through the energy field surrounding the weapon core. A blinding flash filled her vision as the Scorpion collided with the core, triggering a massive chain reaction. The last thing Mira saw was a brilliant explosion, brighter than the sun. On Aurora's edge, the crew watched in stunned silence as the Imperium vessel imploded. The energy field dissipated, and the ship's massive structure crumbled, consumed by the violent reaction Mira had unleashed. Cheers erupted across the station, but they were tinged with sorrow. Rourke stood motionless in the command center, his gaze fixed on the screen. "She did it," he said softly. Mira Solis's sacrifice had not been in vain. The Imperium ship was gone, its threat neutralized. For the first time, humanity had struck a blow against the galactic power. But the victory came with a chilling realization. If this was just one of their ships, what other forces did the Imperium have? Days later, a memorial service was held on Aurora's edge. The crew gathered in the observation deck, staring out at the remnants of the Imperium ship still floating in the nebula. Commander Rourke stepped forward, his voice heavy with emotion. Lieutenant Mira Solis was more than just a soldier. She was a symbol of what humanity stands for: courage, resilience, and the willingness to face the impossible. Her sacrifice reminds us that even in the darkest of moments, we can prevail. As he spoke, a distant light appeared in the nebula, a faint, flickering beacon. Cole Vance checked the instruments. "Commander, we're picking up a signal." "What kind of signal?" Rourke asked, his brow furrowing. "It's human," Cole said, astonished. "A distress beacon. It's coming from the Imperium debris." Rourke's eyes widened. "Mira?" The crew exchanged hopeful glances. Without hesitation, Rourke gave the order: "Prepare a rescue mission. If there's even a chance." The Aurora's edge launched a shuttle toward the debris. As it approached the source of the signal, the crew held their breath. The Imperium had underestimated humanity before. If Mira Solis was alive, their battle was far from over. The rescue shuttle, Orion's Wing, maneuvered carefully through the debris field. Fragments of the destroyed Imperium ship floated like silent sentinels in the nebula, illuminated by the faint glow of distant stars. Cole Vance and a small team of engineers monitored the beacon's signal as they approached. "The signal is weak but steady," he reported. "It's definitely coming from inside that larger fragment." The fragment in question was a massive section of the Imperium vessel's hull, still emitting faint pulses of energy. It was unstable, its structural integrity compromised by the explosion. "Be careful," Commander Rourke's voice came through the comms. "We don't know what's waiting for you in there." The shuttle docked with the fragment, its airlock connecting to a jagged opening. Cole and his team donned their suits and stepped inside. The interior was a chaotic wreck of twisted metal and sparking conduits. Cole activated his scanner, following the signal deeper into the wreckage. "This place shouldn't even have power," he muttered. "It's like something's keeping it alive." As they turned a corner, they found a small, intact chamber. In its center was a stasis pod, surrounded by Imperium machinery. The beacon's signal was emanating from the pod. "It's human technology," Cole said, astonished. but it's been integrated with Imperium tech. The pod's glass surface was cracked, and inside was Mira Solis. Her body was suspended in a faint blue glow, her face peaceful yet pale. "She's alive," one of the engineers exclaimed. Cole examined the machinery. "Barely. Whatever this is, it's keeping her stable, but we need to get her out of here." As they worked to disconnect the pod, the wreckage trembled. Sparks erupted from the walls, and an eerie hum filled the chamber. "Commander, we've got company," Cole said, his voice tense. Outside the fragment, a second Imperium ship loomed into view, its sleek alien design glinting ominously. "They're scanning the wreckage," Rourke said over the comms. "Get Mira and get out of there now." The Orion's wing detached just as the Imperium ship began firing. Explosions rocked the debris field, sending massive chunks of metal hurtling in all directions. The shuttle weaved through the chaos, narrowly avoiding destruction. "Hold on," Cole shouted as a shockwave slammed into the shuttle. The pod containing Mira was secured, but the crew struggled to maintain control. On board Aurora's Edge, Rourke coordinated a defense. "Target their weapon systems. We need to buy the shuttle time to dock." The station's turrets unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, forcing the Imperium ship to divert its attention. The Orion's wing made it back just as the station's shields began to falter. "Shuttle is docked," a technician announced. "Seal the bay and get Mira to the med bay," Rourke ordered. "We'll deal with the Imperium later." In the med bay, Mira's stasis pod was carefully opened. Dr. Elara Trent examined her, her brow furrowed in concentration. "She's alive, but her vitals are different," Elara said. "Something's happened to her at a cellular level." Mira's eyes fluttered open, and she gasped for air, her body convulsing briefly before settling. Her gaze darted around the room, panic flickering in her expression. "Easy," Elara said gently. "You're safe, Lieutenant. You're back on Aurora's Edge." Mira's breathing slowed, but her voice was hoarse. "The Imperium, they're coming." "We know," Rourke said, stepping into the room. "We just had a run-in with one of their ships. They're not happy about what you did." Mira shook her head. "You don't understand. They didn't just save me. They changed me." The room fell silent. "What do you mean?" Rourke asked, his voice cautious. Mira held up her hand, and to everyone's shock, a faint blue energy crackled around her fingers. "They were studying me, using their technology to enhance me. I don't know why, but I can feel it. I'm not the same." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared across the station. "Commander," a voice called over the comms. "Multiple Imperium vessels have just entered the system. They're surrounding us." Rourke's expression hardened. "Battle stations. This isn't over." Mira stood, her strength returning faster than anyone expected. "Commander," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "I can help. Whatever they did to me, I can feel their ships, their energy. I might be able to turn this against them." Rourke hesitated, the weight of the decision heavy on his shoulders. But he saw the determination in her eyes, the same unyielding resolve that had led her to sacrifice herself. "Then let's fight," he said. As Aurora's Edge prepared for its most desperate battle yet, Mira knew this was just the beginning. The Imperium had made her their experiment. Now she would become their reckoning.